If I come to my Kali Linux and I type est list and hit enter, you see a bunch of information here. What you are looking at here are email spoofing templates already prepared for me to use to pretend that I am somebody else. What is email spoofing? Email spoofing is a situation or is a sophisticated email attack whereby an attacker prepares an email pretending to be somebody else and sends to a potential victim. If you look here, you will see that these email templates are telling us that if I want to pretend that I am the CEO of a company, I can use this number one here, which is for the CEO. If I want to pretend that I work in a technical support team, I can use this one. If I want to pretend that I work in a financial institution and that I provide financial services like PayPal, for example, I can use this one. So in our today's tutorial, we are going to look at how attackers pretend to be maybe CEOs of a company or pretend to be technical support technicians so as to deceive potential employees in an organization. So without wasting much time, let us begin. We are going to use a tool known as EST. EST stands for Email Spoofing Tool. Okay, so for us to use this tool, first of all, we must know how to install this tool. For you to install this tool, the first thing you must do is you do a sudo apt update upgrade to upgrade your packages, as well as make sure that you upgrade your software versions. After that, you do a sudo apt update to update the same packages. And after doing this, now the next thing you may want to consider doing now is how to install this tool which you want to use. So we are going to come to our browser, which in this case is Mozilla Firefox. I am going to click on Mozilla Firefox, and on Google, you are going to type github.com/text-eh-or/est. This is a tool created by a guy called TextKai, for example. Now, it opens in front of us like this. If I maximize my screen here and I scroll down, you will see every information about this tool. But what we are interested in is the code for this tool. So if I come here and I click on code, I am going to copy this link which you see here, and I am going to minimize my browser, come back to my Kali Linux, and I am going to clone that tool. So for me to clone that tool in my Kali Linux operating system, I'll do I'll do git clone, and then I paste that link which I copied from my Mozilla Firefox. I paste it here, and then I will hit enter. In my case, I'm not going to do this because I have already installed the tool in my operating system. So after having done this, the next thing that I will expect you to do in your case is you're going to type an ls, for example, to see if this tool is installed. And you can see that the tool is successfully installed in our Kali Linux. So now that this tool is installed, we want to see what is inside this tool. We want to get into this directory. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a cd est and I hit enter, and you can now see that we are in that est directory, and I'll do an ls. And when I do an ls, you will now see the various packages that comes with this tool, and you can see that this tool uses a script, or we can use install.sh, which is the script that this tool runs on to be able to use this tool. But for us to install this tool or to install this script, we must make sure that we have permissions from Kali Linux. How do we get these permissions? For us to get these permissions, I am going to do chmod, I give it a space bar, I give it a plus and an X, and then I am going to come here, I copy this script, and I come back here and paste this script, and I hit enter. After hitting enter, it shows that nothing has happened, but under the hood, it is telling us that we now have permission to use EST. So the next thing that I will want to do is to clear my screen, and then for us to prove or verify that we have successfully installed our tool. But before doing that, we must also do a /install.sh to complete our installation. Now it asks us for installation it asks us if we want to continue with installation. I'm going to type Y for yes, and then it continues with the installation, right? But now, since this tool is already installed, I will not continue here because it is asking for my password here. In your case, you are going to give it your password, but I am not going to give it a password here because I know that the tool is already installed in my operating system. So I will do a Control C for abort, and then I'll clear my screen again by typing clear. And then what I expect you to do is to verify if this tool is already in existence in your system. So if I type EST, for example, you can see that the color changes to blue. This is a proof that the tool has successfully been installed in our Kali Linux. Now, how do I use this tool? I will do an EST -- help, and I hit enter. And you can now see how we can use this tool. It tells us that usage, EST, version, and every other information. Now, it says that for us to be able to use this tool, we need to set a server. We can use list, we can use test, custom, logs, and reports. Now, let me pause here and explain something. This tool is very important even for defensive cybersecurity because it helps to give us a lot of information of what is happening in our organization or what is happening with our emails. When you see logs refers to a record of information. So meaning that if someone tried to spoof our email, this tool is going to show to us in the organization that the email is a spoofed email through the logs which we are going to get, which is a record of every information that may have been sent to us through email. So now, how then do you use this tool? Now, if you look examples here, you'll see that we are going to need to set an EST server using port 2525. Now, when we talk of this port 2525, it is an alternative SMTP port. Unlike the custom SMTP port, which is port 25, in this case, we're going to use port 2525. I'm going to explain further when we continue. So the next thing I want to do now is I am going to clear my screen. And after clearing my screen, what you want to do first thing is to set your email server so that it will be able to relay or to forward the email to our potential victim. So how do you do this? I'm going to do EST server and give it a -- port, and then I give it port 2525. What I'm telling Kali Linux here, or what I'm telling EST is that please, I am doing an email spoofing, and I want that when whatever I do, take that information from me using my own email and send it to my potential victim. And if I hit enter, you now see that our server status is active. This is telling us that EST has prepared a server running on port 2525 that we are going to use to relay or to send our email to our potential victim. So now I am going to go to another terminal, and when I go to another terminal, what I want to do here is, let me first of all zoom in so that you can be seeing what I'm doing. What I want to do here is that I will now do EST list. I hit enter, and you can see that we have various templates here which we can use to pretend that we want to spoof a particular email. If, for example, we want to pretend that we are the CEO of a company, we are going to use 1. If we want to pretend we are on a technical support team, we use 2, and so on and so forth. So in our case, we are going to test this email tool using pretending that we are the CEO of a company using 1. So since it is given, or since we have 1 here, which is for the CEO of a company, we are going to use 1. So if I come down here and I do EST test, I give it 1, that one above there, which we want to pretend that we are the CEO. If, for example, you want to pretend that you work as a software or you want to do software license fraud, you are going to use 4. If you want to pretend that you work in a financial institution, you are going to give it 5 here. But in our case, we want to use 1 because we want to pretend that we are the CEO of a particular institution. So after giving it, now you need to give it the email, or you need to send that email to a person, to a potential victim. So I am going to come back here, and what I will do now is I will come to my Mozilla, and I'm going to type temp mail to get, I want to get a temporal email so that we can use for this tutorial. And I type, or I click on the first link here. So I am going to get a temporal email that we are going to use here, and this email is going to be directed, or think of this email like the email of that employee that we want to send to, so that we deceive him or her to send us maybe money or to do whatever we want. So I am going to minimize my screen, and then I'm going to come here and I will paste that email here. After pasting the email here, what I expect you to do is that now I will just hit enter. Now when I hit enter, wait and see how it does the magic. You can now see that our email spoofing test is completed. Okay, is completed. Now something interesting is happening under the hood. If I come back here and if I look here, you now see that our email is successfully delivered. What are you looking at here? What you are seeing here is a log of information telling us that someone is spoofing us, telling us that our email has been sent. Okay? So this is for defensive purposes. If in your organization you get a log, you get an alert that an email was sent to you, and you come here and you check and you discover like this, it is what that you take the time and do an incident response activity to check if the email is legit. Now, let us go back to Mozilla Firefox and see if truly this email is sent to our potential client or to a potential victim. If I come here and I renew my browser like this and come down here, let us check the inbox. It is loading. Let us see if we are going to get an email here. And if you check here, if I click here, you will see that we have an email here which says, I need you to process an urgent wire transfer of $85,000. Okay, and you can see that it is coming from the CEO of a company. Right now, let us go back to our terminal. What I want us to do now is that instead of using this ready-made template, I am going to clear my screen. I want us to create a custom template which we can use in this case. How do you prepare a custom template? I'll do EST, I'll do custom, I give it -- from email. I think I already have all this information here. Let me just take it like this, and then I explain what is happening here. Now, we want to pretend that we are the CEO of Microsoft.com, for example. So what do? We are going to need to get the email of the CEO of Microsoft.com. And in this case, it's this one. So I am telling EST to prepare a custom email spoofing, whereby it is going to show that the email is coming from the CEO of Microsoft and that this is the email. So -- from email is pointing to who or the email we want to spoof. And then you will see a -- from name is the name of the CEO. And in our case, we are going to pretend that the CEO of Microsoft.com is John Doe. And then the subject of the email is urgent transfer of funds. Okay, and then the body of the email is, this is for educational purposes only. Now let me pause here and explain something. Please, this is for educational purposes. Do not practice email spoofing. Do not do this. It is only for you to learn and be alert of the things that happen. Okay, and then now when I come to the target here, our target now is that email or that temporal email which I took from Mozilla Firefox. So you can see this is the target email. This is the target, or the CEO's email which we are targeting here. So now, after doing this, everything is ready to go. So if I hit enter, you now see that it is sending a custom spoofed email, and you can see that our email has successfully been sent, and it was sent on the 3rd. It was sent on the 3rd month of 2026 at exactly the 19th. Okay, so now if I come back to my temporal email here and I reload like this, let us wait for it to load, and then you are going to see wire transfer. Now let me load again. Or better still, I refresh here. Refresh. Let's wait for it to load, and then we are going to check this inbox here. Now if you look here, if I click here, it is loading, please just wait. Okay, you can see that we have received an email, or that employee has received an email coming from John Doe at CEO, and here is that the email that we spoofed, and the subject is urgent transfer of fund, and then the body of that email was, this is for educational purposes only. So this is how EST can be used to perform email spoofing. Now for me to continue, I am going to come here, and I'm going to explain certain things and tell you how you can defend email spoofing. Now the first thing you must understand is for an email to come to your inbox, the first thing is it must be verified by what we call the sender policy framework. It must be verified by what we call the domain key identified mail, and then it must also be verified by DMARC. Now the sender policy framework checks if the email is coming from a particular domain which it is authorized to come from. And then DKIM checks the data certificate of that email to see if the email has been signed by an email server. And then now, if an email is tested by the sender policy framework and it fails that test, it means that it is malicious. It is going to be sent to the spam. If it fails the DKIM, it means that it does not have a data certificate. It is going to be sent to the spam. And if if an email passes the sender policy framework and it is malicious, passes the DKIM, and then the DMARC verifies if it passed through this and does not see results from these two, it is going to discard that email, or it is going to send that email to your spam folder. So next time you see an email on your spam folder, it is always good to recheck or to double check if that email is valid before you click on the links or on the attachments that might come with those links. Another way in which you can defend email spoofing is by updating your software to the latest versions, especially your email servers, to make sure that they run in or on the latest versions. The next thing you may want to do to make sure that you are protected from such attacks is to encrypt your emails, so that even if an attacker spoofs an email like this, he will not be able, or spoof the email of an organization, he will not be able to read that email because he will need to decrypt that email. And the last thing that you may want to consider doing as an organization is to get an incident response plan when it comes to emails, so that whenever you have an email like this, you may want to consider to quarantine that email for further investigations or for forensic investigations. So that is how email spoofing is done using EST. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and see you in the next one. Thank you for watching up to this moment. Bye-bye.